Hi, this is my third lecture in this series. I have already posted two earlier voice sessions and an introduction session on my YouTube channel. Besides this YouTube channel, I also maintain a blog and I do post there also. Recently I have posted about how mind works, which I talked about in my first video, Part-01. I would like you to see that post also. It will help you. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about few issues. One of them first being, why does God discriminate? Yes, you heard it right. Does God discriminate? We will talk about that. Second thing I will talk about is how exactly psychosis work and how does it feel like, so that you get a better idea how really things felt by many people around the world, and what is the spiritual content and how does it come in their daily experiences. Finally, I will talk about one of the earlier issue I talked in my audio session, like remembering the death at every moment. Is it really possible? If it is possible, is it not indicating of some feeling of doom, remembering death at every moment? So we will talk about that also. Anyway, so let's start with why God discriminate. So, basic premise of everybody is that God can't discriminate. Yes, it's true. But if you see the history of humanity, different sant, different big personalities came to this earth. I will focus mainly on Sant Mat only. Kabir Sahab came, Ravidas ji came, and Seth Shivdayal ji, we call Swami ji, also came and achieved very high exalted status in spirituality. We all look upon them as a way of guiding our own spiritual life. So that's a very wonderful thing. But when we look at them at a higher spiritual pedestal, shouldn't we look at ourselves at that time also? We should. Why shouldn't we ask the God, why are you discriminating? What do I mean by that? First thing, how will you ask the God? You need not to go to any temple or anywhere else. Just have a feeling of soul listening to your own voice. So all you have to do is to talk to your own soul. It may seem like something not believable, but if you will practice, you can talk to your soul. Of course, mind will come in between and will keep on commenting. But just like intuition, we can speak to our soul also. So, if you are speaking to your soul, assume that you are speaking to God. There may not be the response from other side, but the feeling of contentment in your soul will give you the idea that your message is being delivered. So, Kabir ji, Swami ji and other sons were of very high spiritual exalted states they achieved. So the question we should ask the God is, if they can be such a high spiritual status achieved by them, why can't I? What fault is of mine that I can't be Kabir? I can't be like Kabir, I can't be like Swamiji and other sons. Why are you discriminating between us? They were also noble souls, and I am also your one of children soul. If you can give such status to them, why can't I reach the same status? It's a very simple question, but a very profound one. Asking this question to God is definitely going to help in your own spiritual journey, because, as I told earlier also, God is the nicest person out there. I know describing God like that person or nicest isn't the way, but it works like this also. A personal God, a personal someone whom we can talk to. So asking this question will definitely give you a response in ways both direct and indirect, which will help your spiritual journey. Even just think like that. If somebody can achieve something, why can't I? The answer you will most probably get, not most probably, but you will get, is that there is no bar from my side. It's your mind which is blocking it. In your mind itself, you have put broad blocks that I can't be like that. Removing those roadblocks can make you like, can take you a journey where you can be like them. So this is definitely a way to improve your spiritual journey, because God can't discriminate, and if He can't discriminate, you have every right to ask, if other soul is achieving this status, why can't I? Just try it and you will feel a difference in your own way of thinking. Ultimately, it's all about modulating your mind, how mind adjusts your spiritual beliefs. It will be a big jolt to your existing beliefs and rearrangement of thoughts, which will lead to better spiritual outcome. So this is the one of the advice I wanted to give to all the meditators who are trying any type of meditation. But I primarily talk about Santmat meditation, and the same question can be asked to your master also. Essentially, there is no difference between master and God. So when I say God, and if you are looking up to your master in your meditation, you can ask him also. Even those people who have not manifested their own master, simply ask in blind. Say you do the meditation, you close the eyes, and simply ask this question in the dark. Don't worry about results. Don't worry that your master is listening or not. Point is, you have to transmit. If you have transmitted, don't worry about reception on the other side. It will happen. And if reception happens, the response will also come in the ways that will help you. So this was one of the advice I wanted to give. Another thing I want to talk about it, what does psychosis feel like? See, 1% of the world population suffers from psychotic disorders. So people really have no idea what do they really feel like. They do give them medication to suppress their thoughts and keep them sedated so that they can behave like a normal person. Anyway, that is a different topic. What I will discuss is what does psychosis really feel like. In its essential form, the psychosis is nothing but symbol mapping. What does I mean by symbol mapping? Symbol mapping is, say, when I am going outside, I assign different meanings to different things I see. Like in my case, I assign meaning of white to people of white race, symbol of blue to Russians, and like that. There can be thousands of symbols. And when you do the symbol mapping, and when those, say that color comes in front of me, I will think of white people. Blue color comes in front of me, I will think of something. A different car is coming, I will think of something. Another car is coming, I will think of something. Now, as you are living real life, many different things will be happening. If you have mapped your thoughts to all those symbols, which are obviously false, it's just your mind has given different meaning to different symbols. A story can be woven around it, and that story can be very convincing because the story is played out by universal mind, and that story becomes so convincing that people refuse to accept that says something is wrong with them. That's why they say no amount of coaxing or goading a psychotic person will work because he is too much invested in the story. So I would like you to explore it online also. How does psychosis work? Basically, there is delusions. What I'm talking about is delusion only. Symbol mapping. Delusion is what? It's a false belief. Once you have created too many mental threads of these false beliefs, you have no escape. You will work according to those false beliefs only. So that is the thing I wanted to talk about in psychosis, and how it is really spiritual, how really one comes out of it. We will be talking about that later on. So the third thing I will talk about is the thing I mentioned ago in my earlier audio session, that remembering the death at every moment. At the outset, it looks like very doom kind of feeling, remembering your death at every moment. So, no, it's not like that. You don't have to remember it, neither you have to think it. You have to live it. So there is a difference, living a thought and remembering a thought. Living a thought means you have your whole perspective towards life is based on that thought. you are not remembering that thought. Every action of yours is based on that thought. So you need not to consciously remember that thought. So that is very important a point actually. If you are not living in this way, the death will come and you will not be able to accept it in a positive way. Most of the time, people become anxious. So, feeling of anxious leads to feeling of fear, and the calm and composed way in which the soul must proceed become difficult. So, how to reach this state? See, it's also the game of mind. If you can really mold your mind to behave in a certain way at all the time, you will behave in the same way at that time also. It's all the question of how will you mold the mind to behave in that way. So, just remembering about death all the time will not help. You will have to do your spiritual practice in a way that you are always feeling like connected to the source. That's another good point actually. If you are always connected to the source, feeling of death itself will be feeling of joy, not of fear. It's something which is achievable because it's just a transition from physical domain to the other side. If you are connected to the source, which is on the other side, and you are remembering, rather you are connected to that source, you just passing with full conscious knowledge of where you are going. And that is a very big thing. And this thing is provided by Santmat. Because